My goodness, ladies and gentlemen, do we have some absolutely breaking news coming to you today. From the man himself and his manager, Richardson Hitchins and Keith Conley have both announced and made a statement. Richardson Hitchins, the IBF Junior welterweight champion of the world, having won the bout back in December of 2024 against Liam Paru, defended it one time in June of 2025 against George Kambosos, was supposed to defend it for the second time against Oscar Duarte, February 21st on the undercard of Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios. Richardson Hitchins makes the Friday weigh-in, makes the Saturday weigh-in, the second day weigh-in that the IBF installs, says he goes and has breakfast, has a stomach ache, starts throwing up, and pulls out of the fight hours before it even starts. Richardson Hitchins gets signed over to Zuffa Boxing, being one of several fighters under the management of Keith Conley, being signed over to Zuffa Boxing. Connor Benn, one of the most just drama-filled guys that we have in the sport of boxing, and also Edgar Berlanga. Richardson Hitchins, who just last week was talking about fulfilling what the IBF had ready for him, a mandatory fight against Lindolfo Delgado to defend his 140-pound IBF world title. But now, Hitchins and Keith Conley both make a statement that officially end that. Richardson Hitchins is no longer fighting at 140 pounds, ladies and gentlemen. It's over. The last weight cut against Oscar Duarte, this should have happened a long time ago. You're talking about Hitchins, a guy who's been fighting at 140 pounds since he was 16 years old. I'm going to read to you guys what Richardson Hitchins has to say, and I'm going to read to you guys what Keith Conley has to say. But this is absolutely breaking news. Richardson Hitchins says, 147 pounds, it's time. I will be the 2-division world champion real soon. I've outgrown 140, and my days at the weight are done. Let's go. Keith Conley says, it was a tough decision for Hitchins, right? Because Hitchins last week was just talking about keeping his title. It was a tough decision for Hitchins, but he's outgrown the weight class. He's been fighting at the 140-pound division since he was 16 as an amateur. Hitchins is an elite fighter, and I truly believe he'll be even better and stronger at the welterweight division, and that he will be fighting for a world title in the 147-pound division in the next 12 months. Yes, Keith Conley says Richardson Hitchins will be fighting for a world title at 147 pounds in the next 12 months. First off, let's start from the beginning, man. Hitchins, who is the 140-pound IBF champion, at least for right now, will no longer be as soon as the IBF show or whenever he decides to vacate his belt. Hitchins was a fighter that obviously has been at this weight class for way too long, 140 pounds. The dude is tall. The dude is long, lengthy, right? He had a tough weight cut in his last fight to be able to fight Oscar Duarte. Couldn't even make that weight. Signs over to Zuffa Boxing, where they don't even have a 140-pound weight class. No. They got the lightweight division at 135. And then it goes to the welterweight division at 147 pounds. So we assessed this new deal that Richardson Hitchins signed with Zuffa Boxing, and we said that he had two options. He could either drop the 140-pound belt and move to the Zuffa weight class division and look to become the Zuffa world champion at 147 pounds, which we thought Dana White and them were trying to do in the first place, or Dana White would comply with Richardson Hitchins and Keith Conley and allow Hitchins to continue to defend his 140-pound fight, his 140-pound bout. Continue to fight under the sanctioning bodies. And as long as Dana White would comply with that, Turkey Sela TKO Group Holdings, as long as they complied with it, then they would act like his promoter, right? Now, guys, it's official that he is no longer fighting at 140 pounds. So now that we know that, and he's moving up to 147, the question is, are they going to comply with him still competing for the sanctioning bodies? As Keith Conley says, he will be fighting for a world title in the next 12 months. So does that mean that Hitchins is still going to be allowed to fight for a WBC, WBO, WBA, IBF world title? Will he? And speaking of that, Hitchins versus Rolly Romero for the WBA strap? Imagine. Hitchins versus Ryan Garcia for his WBC. Hitchins versus Crocker, IBF. Or Hitchins versus Devin Haney for the WBO. I like it. And I think it's great for Hitchins, another fighter who just moved up to 147 pounds and looks to be benefiting from it. Is Devin the Dream Haney? Did y'all see that clip of him hitting the heavy back today? Training with James Toney. My goodness, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like Richardson Hitchins moving up to 147 pounds could also have the same benefit. He's a skilled fighter who already hits hard. And, you know, now you let him be full. Now you let him eat more. Now you let him not be depleted going into his fights under the IBF second day weigh-ins rules and all that. This could be great for his career. But the question is, which route are they taking? Is he going to be fighting for the Zuffa world title? Because if so, we know the IBF doesn't comply. We know the sanctioning bodies aren't going to be complying if a Zuffa world title is on the line as well. Is that the route they're going to be taking? Is he going to be getting, you know, who is he going to fight? Edwin De Los Santos? Who is this man going to fight at 147 pounds that's going to draw the same type of eyes and caring for and legacy driven that's in Zuffa boxing when you got the sanctioning body world champions that I feel like Hitchins wants to fight those dudes. And now with somebody like Zuffa boxing backing them, we see Conor Ben fighting Regis Prograis, $15 million, get signed to a new multi-fight deal. And then now in talks of fighting Ryan Garcia. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, they got the money, they got the backing. Now it's about the question of making the fight. So what is next for Richardson Hitchins, ladies and gentlemen? This is absolutely breaking news. Richardson Hitchins is done at 140 pounds and is moving on up to 147. Let me know what you guys think. Keith Conley, Hitchins, my goodness, man. My goodness, I can't wait for this. And I hope they comply with him and he's allowed to fight in the 147-pound division under the sanctioning bodies, because my goodness, is just shake things up even more. But let me know what you guys think. This is the MMA Boxing Addict channel reporting to you.